This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. How is everybody doing to, where are we? What day is it?
Friday.
Thank you. It's Friday. This is the Long Run Show. We're live. We've got Hayden with us. Jatila, Coach Al is back on the train as well, which is good news. And tonight we are talking about running shoes. We thought we'd do a running shoes one because we haven't done one. And I'm basically not doing bite size on Monday. So that kills two birds with one stone, which I thought was a good idea. So if you've got any running shoe questions, we're going to be talking about not like the latest releases and all that sort of stuff. We're going to be talking about why we choose certain shoes for certain things. And it might make you think about that a little bit different. And I'll come on to why in just a bit. So firstly, admin, let's get the admin done. We've got to give a shout out to our sponsors at Skechers. Head over to skechers.co.uk. If you're waiting for new shoes from Skechers, you have to wait a little bit longer. There's some new shoes coming later in the year. Start Fitness, get over to Start Fitness, use the code 40runs and you're going to get 10% off that. Use the code 40runs at Kendall Mint as well. You're going to get some money off of that. You're welcome, by the way. What else? Oh, admin-wise, we've got to tell you the Great North Run. If you're coming to the Great North Run, you need to sign up for the shakeout today, really, because we are basically in full. So you need to get over to there. It's free. We're going to have a fun-filled day, and you need to go over to 40runs.com and get yourself signed on to that. Otherwise, basically, you ain't coming in. What else they need to do, Hayden? Oh, Pride. We've got the Pride parkrun coming up. Come along to that if you're not already signed up. We need to get numbers for that because we need to advise the event director how many of you have come in. There's already 70 of you said that you're coming to that. So make sure that you get over again to the same website. Lastly on that, while you're there, sign up for the Olympics. We've got 5 places left. 5 places only to come to along. We've hired a track for the day and the event is taking on a bigger thing. There's going to be even more things to do there. So make sure you do sign on to that. We've got 5 places left. Okay, right. That's it. Thanks to everybody. Yes.
One more thing.
Oh, I've just remembered something as well. Yeah,
Hop.
Oh yeah, Harp 24. Sign up for that as well. When do they have to sign up for that?
Sign up as soon as possible. It is on, I think, our credit, July the
6th and 7th.
6th and 7th.
Well,
July.
technically, it starts on the Friday because you can camp Friday night.
7th, innit?
Yeah.
Oh, I've done a I forgot to tell you, I've done a pre-record for that weekend, by the way, so we've all got it off. You're welcome. What was the other thing? There was something else I need to tell you. This is obviously live, hence I'm just battling away through this. So if you are joining us live, get into the comments and chat section. Whether you want to talk about running shoes, whether you want to ask coaching question, whether you want to ask why Jatila's still the face of Run Through, even though she's not worked there for 2 years. Just ask away in the comment section. That was the other thing I need to remember. If you want to take part in our autumn coaching group, you need to sign up like today. I know a lot of you have been paid and some people are waiting for that. Get in there and sign up for that, okay? If you want the coaching app and you want to do all that we've developed, that's a separate thing, but you're welcome to, instead of wasting your money on runner and things like that, go and sign up for that. Be a bit more punchy in terms of pricing, but it's worth it. But yeah, if you've got an autumn half marathon like the Great North Run, or you've got a marathon and you want a bit of help and guidance, training plan, whatnot, sign on to the coaching as well. Right, that's all that out of the way. Okay, team, how are we doing? Jatila, where have you been apart from like making sure you're still on Run Through's website?
Oh my, I have been, I went through a little bit of when they say the marathon blues, I got it really, really hard after London because I had Hackney booked and I thought it'd keep me on the train, sort of on the train, should I say. And it just didn't go to plan. I had hardly done anything for about 3 weeks. I just wasn't feeling it. I went into a real down point. But finally back up and running literally since sort of last week and sort of ticked that one good speed session in last week. So this week, should I say. So I'm back up and running. I'm going to do a few races, maybe drop in and see Ben next Wednesday because I know he's doing Battersea. So yeah, I'm there. I'm good. Now that I'm back up, I feel a lot better. Headspace is better as well. Good. It's amazing what it can do.
Good. How are you this week?
Well, you know, there's all these memes about how do you know if someone's run a marathon, and it's like, don't worry, they'll tell you. Well, I've been going around work telling everyone that I'm a member of the Cow Club, and it's kind of just tumbleweed moments. So I don't think my 100 park runs at 100 locations has really permeated Walsall Borough Council yet. Obviously, I've still got plenty of opportunity. There's people been off this week, so there's always next week to remind them that I'm a member of the Cow Club. There you go.
Just keep pushing it out. At some point, they
We've been doing it.
will celebrate it. Hayden, what have you been up to?
Well, since last time on the pod, run London with yourself. Done Hackney Half, and then I met up with a couple of 40s last Saturday. Went up to this park run up north. There was a few of us there. It was quite a good day.
Many turn up.
There was a few familiar faces, but no, it's absolutely awesome. I say we went out last Saturday. For those of you that don't know, and we had our extreme park run where we all headed up to Yard. Well, we didn't all head up there. Some headed down to Yarborough Park Run.
Some of you stayed over the night before, Hayden.
Some stayed over the night before that weren't hardcore yet. We won't name names. Some of us didn't get on the coach and do the 16-hour day. Won't name names, but it was a great day all round. Really good. Loads of us. I reckon there was about, what do you reckon? About 160 odd. I think there was of us there.
Yeah, easy.
Oh, it's brilliant. The people at the park run, to be fair, good big shout out to them, the run director and all the volunteers there. They really welcomed us and they just embraced the whole situation. Where some people might think, bloody hell, 160 people from a club coming, this is going to be hard work. They didn't. They embraced it, loved it, gave us a good day, and yeah, all round, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it's been a busy.
I think they got to see the best of a running club in terms of, that would scare the living daylights out of most run directors, to be fair. But actually they were brilliant, and I think they realized actually what we bring and what we can as a community bring to those events, and why we love parkrun so much. And actually it's a good thing because we're promoting parkrun. I know parkrun don't care about it because they're quite blasé about how important they are to themselves, but we go out there and we promote parkrun because we believe in it, and what it stands for, certain communities, certain people, certain individuals. So yeah, it was good. It was quite refreshing, actually, I would say, to people who organised that up there, and the other park runs that we've been to. They've all been awesome, the ones that we've been to. So that was good. Right, so I'll tell you how this is going to work tonight. We're going to come on to the running shoes and stuff like that. And the reason we're doing it is because yesterday I was at the physio and I had some gait analysis and foot scans and stuff like that done at the guys at Carter and George. I've got to give them a shout out as well. And it made me think about running shoes and things like that. And I've noticed this week there's been a few questions in the Facebook group about running shoes. People have been asking weird stuff. So that's all good. So we'll come on to that. But before we do, there's the Edinburgh Marathon going on this weekend. I think we'll give a shout out to some of our runners who are heading up there, especially from my side, Debs. I know she's up there smashing it out. Probably going to get our Boston qualifying time this weekend. Yeah, she's going for it. And I think just going back, have you done Edinburgh?
No, not marathon or half.
I thought you'd done it for
I lived there for 5 years, but I wasn't a runner at that point.
Don't count.
Thankfully. So I'm not even run up half the seat.
We've got some people doing the half as well, haven't we? Like Kieran.
It's a marathon weekend, so there's quite a few from the Global Run Club going up for the half as well. So there's been a lot of chat in that group. I know Evie and Kieran met up at Stansted early on.
I've got a couple of ladies down. I've got a couple of ladies down at Surrey who, because it's the marathon weekend, like you said, Al. A couple of ladies at Surrey. They're doing the 5K, the 10K, and the half.
Oh, that's a good show.
Yeah, the 5 and the 10 on the Saturday, and then the half on the.
You know what? That makes it actually quite appealing. Yeah. In some respects, if you want a good.
I'll tell you what's really good for Edinburgh Marathon actually. So I'd done it a couple of years ago. You might know that. It's one of my favourite races.
You haven't told anyone.
I haven't told anyone about that, but I've done it. And at the same time, I had my wife Louisa and 3 of her friends. They actually done the Edinburgh Marathon relay, and that was actually really, really good. They did on exactly the same course. We have like this then pit stop bits. I'd say that was a really, really good day. If you don't fancy doing a whole marathon, you only want to do, and it's different. It wasn't like split evenly where you do sort of like 6.5 miles each. One leg was like 12K, one was 6K, then there was an 8K. So you can like put different people in those strategic positions. It was actually a really, really good event. They absolutely loved it. Really
I remember actually when we did the Edinburgh Marathon, I remember seeing those sort of, it's quite a big thing. There's quite a lot of people, like when you see the big half, you see about 2 people. But when at the Edinburgh Marathon, it was like a couple of hundred people ready to do the challenge. Have you fancy doing the Edinburgh Marathon?
I actually would love to do Edinburgh Marathon. My housemate, who her partner lives in Edinburgh, and he's doing the half marathon this weekend. So she's up there supporting him. And I was like, I don't know why I haven't considered it, because it's a beautiful place. Edinburgh is stunning. So it's a perfect thing to sort of tie in with like a trip as well. So it's definitely on the radar.
Yeah. I quite think, you know what, now you said that out about the or whoever said it, about the 5K, the 10K and the half. In terms of a weekend, I think actually be quite a nice weekend in the May bank holiday. Yeah, it's a quite cool one. Right, okay, then moving on, because there's something going on. Some roads are shut in London for something this weekend.
Are you surprised?
Oh, it just gets on my nerves. But we best wish everybody good luck. For Christ's sake, be safe on this two-wheel adventure you're going on, you idiots. I don't want to hear any horror stories on Monday. I want you all back safely with your medals. Al's going to be out there feeding you all. Is that right, Al?
Yeah, I'm on bananas and gels, I think, at round about the halfway mark at Felsted. So looking forward to getting yet another pink jacket.
Hero. And Hayden, have you just thought about what you're going to eat on the bike?
It's actually a really tricky one, because I haven't done much bike riding. I don't know much about it. I've done a 100-kilometre one, and I didn't really feel like I needed to fuel, or I did fuel with some gels for the sake of it, but I know this whole biking thing, it doesn't do anything for me cardio wise. It hurts my legs, and it's bloody hard work on the legs, but cardio wise, I don't honestly feel it does much for me. So I had a couple of gels and I felt absolutely fine before. I'll probably take, I don't know, Mars bar. I've got no idea, to be honest. I'm way out of my league with it, and I feel really.
All I know, right, whenever I talk to Ben and say to him, have you done any biking? He went, yeah, I went out and we stopped for a cake and coffee. That's all he's ever said. That's all he ever says that he's done.
It gets worse. Last year was the first time I supported the Ride 100, and I met a few Fordies at the welfare hub, and it was like, is this a quick turnaround? They go, no, we're stopping for a picnic and we're stopping for a little snooze. It's because they can pause their watch. They go over the timing map, and you can pause your watch and like have an hour's kip and then get back on the bike and go again. Can you imagine that at Tower Bridge?
Oh, that's exactly what I was just thinking now. It's like, imagine how different a race would be.
Snooze on the embankment and then just run the last 5K. Is that all right, guys? It's unbelievable.
I do a Simon. I'm just going to have a lay down and just if someone could stop my watch, that'd be handy, wouldn't it? Look at this. Someone two said joining from France. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Oh, we've got to give a shout out. That was the last thing on my list, actually. Before we get on to a sore subject for many, is give a shout out to Tony and Lloyd, who are currently eating snails and drinking Chardonnay. Is that right, Hayden?
That is right. It's not just Tony and Lloyd. We've got out there Matt, we've got Claire, and we've got Shell as well. All five of them running London to Paris.
Now, I don't get this London to Paris thing, right? I think it could be a huge event. But they somehow managed, I don't know, in terms of the organisation of it, to make it more complicated than it is. Now, the good thing is it makes a lot of money for charity, right? Which is really a positive thing. But here's the thing. I think they go about it the wrong way and sort of force you to do it. If they didn't force you to do it and you could pick a charity or something like that, I think it would make it a bit more open, because I think the whole thing sounds really awesome and I'd love to do it. But it's 400 quid a head to raise for charity. I know you get all your accommodation and that lot, and then you got
no. Sorry to interrupt there. You're wrong about that. It's 400 quid per head to raise for charity. I'm pretty sure on top of that, you have to pay for the race, which is 180 quid.
Yeah, so you're in for 600 quid unless you raise the money, right? Okay, do it as a team, right? And again, I'm not trying to put off raising money for charities here, okay? I'm actually trying to think of ways that they can make it more awesome and get more money. I just think they go about it the wrong way. I think it'd be a really good adventure. They've got the bare bones of it, but I don't know. There's something that's holding it back. I don't know what it is. Maybe that is the barrier. If they remove the barrier and made it a little bit more accessible for people, so they weren't scared to death, and maybe you could pick a level of sponsorship that you was going to get, and I don't know, your price of entry went up or something. I don't know. But I'd like to see that event grow and it do more things, because I love the sound of it, but it puts me off. Do you know what I mean? You go on, hey, sorry.
I do get what you're saying. I think Tony Lloyd was saying just before they settled. Sorry, I went down to see him off, and the run director there was saying they raised literally just under £100,000.
It's amazing. It's brilliant.
She said, "Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant."
Yeah, no qualms about that.
As you said, if they could maybe, instead of having the 400 quid raise charity, even if they brought it down to 200 quid,
yeah,
they had 40 teams there, 40 teams of 5, so 200 people. Would they get 80 teams of 5 and raise that sort of bit? I don't know, but then maybe they can't cope with the extra people because there's a lot of logistics involved in getting them over to France on the ferry, and also at the checkpoint, just stupid things like they were there giving an announcement saying, so the first person went off, Matt went off first, so Tony, Lloyd and that went in the car, and they were standing saying, when you get to his checkpoint, you're going to drive to his checkpoint and wait for him 12 miles down the road. They were saying, please don't all of you go and park in the local car park 12 and a half miles away, or there's going to be 40 cars all turned up in his car park. So the logistics of it aren't that great. And I suppose if there was 150 teams doing it, you've got 150 cars on the road chasing the relay runners behind. So a lot of it, logistically wise, is probably a little bit difficult. But I'm in the same camp as you.
Yeah, staggered starts and things like Al, with run director race person cap on. Yeah. How would you do it differently?
Well, it's interesting. I actually think they've put a second edition on for this year. I think they're going again in September. So that would spread the load. It allows them to then raise twice as much if they keep the prices the same. Would it be more attractive in September? Possibly. Don't know. I think Hayden's hit it on the head. It is a convoy race as well, isn't it? It's not just the 40 runners. It's the and you have a look this weekend when you see the entourage that supports the Ride 100. And if you've ever watched the Tour de France in the UK, the support vehicle element of it is just bonkers. So I think that probably is a limiting factor. You could find places big enough, but it's how do you then kind of mess about with the route? So they're constantly having to juggle that, I guess, getting the route as sharp as it can be, and then having all the infrastructure for stopovers, layovers. It's not just parking, is it? It's toileting. It's being able to get, top up of water and refreshments. So finding those hotspots, I would imagine, is quite difficult, to be fair to them. So
again, I want it to grow. That's what I'm thinking. It's just like, I don't know whether it's set up for more corporate people to do. I don't know. I just think it's a great idea. I just like to see more people do it. What about you, Jatila? Do you fancy running?
I think I would 100% do it. I feel like that's one of those things. I know with fundraising, it's always really difficult when you're sort of fundraising for that third, fourth, fifth sort of time, like it can be really, really tough. And it's something that you don't want to put on, obviously, a lot of people to help with. But something like that to run from sort of London to Paris is a huge achievement. And it sounds absolutely unbelievable. And it'd be so much more attractive. And I think you touched on something there, Chris, just the staggered as well. Like it could be staggered. So like a lot in bigger groups, or even doing different races at different stages throughout the year. Like you say, they're going to do a September one. But I think if you're getting that much money coming in, like it would be good to sort of see it grow, whether it be different location, maybe different times, even adding an additional one and making it over a longer day. But I would 100% do it. I would.
I think they're stuck to the 5 runners purely from a vehicle perspective for a car. So an average car takes 5 people.
Yeah.
If they keep the 5 runners, you can all have only got 1 vehicle, because Tony was saying there's so many legalities with even just driving in France with your insurance company, and you've got to have your stickers on your car. And they also, which is quite interesting, I pulled up in it and said, what happens when you get to France with this certificate? Because any race in France you do, you have to have a certificate from the doctor.
Yeah, they just banned parkrun, didn't they?
That's why they can parkrun. But she said no, because it's a UK event under UK law, UK athletics, it's irrelevant. You don't need the certification. So that was one thing they didn't have to jump through.
So there we go. We need an extreme parkrun trip where we start in the UK and then we go to France.
Because technically, we're I like it, Al. I like it a lot.
We'll do Dover Parkrun again, and then we'll just somehow
swim across. All right, I'm going to get into a subject that I think I've seen a lot of stuff about this week, and that's the price of races, which I think Hackney's sent everybody around a twist with it. I know you had the Saucony 10K and stuff like that. I'm just going to say at the front end of this, right, I get most of my race places given to me now, right, because I go along and I film stuff, okay? So I'm not going to say too much about this because it would just be totally pot kettle. Right? I think it's unfair for me because I don't have to. I'm really fortunate. The only one, obviously, is London that I pay for, raise money for charity. Other than that, in general, I'm very lucky. I don't have to pay for a hell of a lot of races. So I don't think I'm one to sit there and preach about stuff when actually it doesn't impact me. But I totally understand why people are losing their minds over the prices of races. We'll come on to it in just a second in terms of examples. The only thing I'm going to say on the subject, and then I'm going to leave it over to you guys, is that while it continues to be, people keep paying the money, you ain't going to do jack about it. All right. And running is booming. You've got a new generation that came out of COVID through the pandemic that were sort of teenagers, let's say, and they've now continued into running or found running again. Hence the rise of these run clubs and stuff like that across the certain London boroughs and all that sort of stuff. It's very fashionable to go out and put it all on TikTok, and I think that's driving a lot of the growth, a lot of the prices rises. So in some respects we've only got ourselves to blame, but that's my thoughts. But I said I'm going to step out of this one. I 100% agree with everyone's frustrations, but I'm the worst person because I don't pay for a hell of a lot of places. So I'll just put that out there. Right. So, Hayden, where do you stand in all this?
Yeah, well, I think to be honest, I don't think I'd be really surprised. I'd love to see in a comment someone who can literally message in and say, look, I think the prices are bang on. Everyone's got the price right. I think we all know that it's about supply and demand, and they've got a little bit greedy, a little bit out of control. Some of these races have. I think fair play to London Marathon. When you look at London Marathon, cheapest one out of all the majors, you've got to give that some credit and some kudos. Fair play to what they do there. But then maybe that's why they've got 800,000 people applying for it. Hackney Half, yeah, it's expensive. But as you said, if people are going to pay it, they're going to pay it. I've done it last weekend. I enjoyed it. It's a really good race. I liked it. But I'm going to pay these things to do these experiences once. Would I pay to do it again, that sort of money? No, probably not. Because I think it's a little bit steep. But again, as you said, that's a half marathon. I think we're looking worst ways about 78 quid. I think the Saucony 10K, the London 10K, Essex 10K, whatever you want to call it, I think that's around 60 odd quid, and that's a 10K. They're saying they're closing London Road. So's Hackney. So it's a bit unfair to really put it all on Hackney. But Hackney's just in the limelight at the moment because he's come back up for resale for next year. Same as this happens with Brighton all the time. And people see the cost and they think it's just a bit steep. For context, I put it out on the group earlier. I'm booking Barcelona half in February. Imagine Barcelona's a big capital city in Spain. It's 30 quid. £30 to do the Barcelona half marathon. When you put that in perspective to a 10K, there's going to be like 65 quid in London. Yeah, there's something.
There is a caveat to all this. That you again, it's not to pick up on you, but there are early bird prices that people can take advantage of. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, before you start screaming about it in the comments or whatever, they do offer again slight. It's not that much and it's limited numbers and all that sort of. But they do say, oh yeah, but I can't remember which one of the races because we contacted them. They screamed at me and went, oh yeah, you could have had it for X, Y, and Z if you got in there first. So again, to balance it out.
I will say on that with especially where obviously Hackney is in the limelight at the moment because it was just been last week. I didn't race in the end, so technically I don't fall under that first bracket that cost opens up to. So the first costing bracket is for those people that took part in 2024, which I mean doesn't really open it up very well for people that aren't really sort of have got the funds to sort of wait for those second, third options to do. So I registered interest anyway and didn't receive an email. And then go onto the website today when we were talking about it, when it got put into the group. And instantly they obviously all sold out, even though I registered for interest, and it's straight up to £72. So it's like, it's obviously you've got to be in there at some point, or you've got to be constantly on the ball to even just get a place at a reasonable price. Like instantly looked, I registered interest, last week when it finished. Didn't hear anything from it. Don't know if anybody else did, if they put register interest in, but straight up to 72. That's the last one now, and then it's sold out, which I won't be doing. It's crazy. 72 for that last bracket, and it was only last week.
About you, Al, where are you on this?
Well, the supply and demand, don't need to go into that. To quote another organisation, for everyone that doesn't sign up, there's probably another 100 following behind ready to. But it is affecting how I choose my races. I get the bit about going early bird, but I've don't even know what I'm doing this weekend, let alone in 52 weeks' time. So there's always, do I want to make those commitments? There are certain London races now I will not sign up full price. There's one that gives you a yellow T-shirt every year. I just won't sign up for that at that price. I've done it twice. It's an okay course. It's a great atmosphere. I can come along and volley and get most of the experience. So I'm kind of voting with my feet. I think there's lots of other races out, and where it is kind of, I'm starting to choose local races now. You know, there's 2 races this weekend and last in and around Essex, £25-30, great atmosphere. You know, they're not 50,000 runners, they're 500 runners, but it is what you make it. So I'm starting.
That was Stalt, wasn't it, Al? You really enjoyed that, weren't you?
So Stalt is run by Bishop Stortford Running Club. Bishop Stortford are big in the area, but they limit it to 500. We're going to the Hatfield Broad Oak 10K. That's run by the church and the PTA, similar field size, but they get Active Training World to come and do all the infrastructure. So it feels, you know, it's not like you are running a PTA race, you are running a proper race with all the infrastructure and everything else. And that gives you the atmosphere. It is a good community event, and you can get 90% of what we get, which is being in our tribe, doing something fun, hopefully sharing it with friends and mates, and you don't have to pay 70 odd quid to do it.
Yeah, interesting. I think you bang on with the local stuff. ATW, we know, do some really good events, right price as well for most of their stuff. Big events as well, you know, they're not small, some of these things. And Run Through, we mentioned them. They do good, relatively well priced events as well. I can't see it stopping. I've got to be honest with you. In terms of the pricing, I can't see it stopping. I've said before, London Marathon, really, personally, I think it should be 200 quid or 150 quid. Price themselves out of the market, guaranteed you. As soon as that ballot hits you, that money's coming out of your bank account. That'll put a lot of people off entering in it, and it'll give more people the chance to do it. But yeah, I can't see where it stops. While so much money is being pumped into the marketing side of things in terms of, you know, content and all these stuff that they're getting for their socials, like, do you know what I mean? They've got to justify paying people to do that, you know, and giving away free places to people like me, you know what I mean? They've got to get their money back somehow, so they're passing that on to somebody else, which I don't necessarily agree with. I'm, you know, getting very privileged. So it's a funny old world, but I just can't see it stopping. Why running is so popular, I just can't see it slowing down. I think it's going to get worse.
For me, the analogy is with golf. You know, Hayden's too young and Jatila's certainly too young. Chris, you might remember in the 90s, golf was kind of pricing people out of the market, but it hit a peak, and then suddenly, you know, golf took that dive, and there'll come a point when people do go, it's just too expensive now. I've just seen a comment: you chuck in travel and accommodation, and a £70 race suddenly becomes a 250 quid weekend. And there's only so many that most of us can do.
The only thing I would say to all of this is parkrun. Again, right? Now, I can't see they're ever going to charge for that, personally. So that just to make clear, that's not a race, okay? That's a free local weekly event that takes place that you can belong to or take part in. So I think that's the good thing in terms of demand. I think you've always got parkrun. Whether something springs up and competes against parkrun, like an extended parkrun, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Free local weekly runs, you know, where they were organised 10Ks, but they were free. That would be pretty awesome to do. Actually, I've just had an idea.
Also, we can't just sweep over Al's comment because you didn't say anything about it. You didn't pick him up on it. Al said that I'm too young to remember this golf stuff, but he expected that you would know about it. I'm just saying that. So obviously Al knows the score with regards to you look a lot older than me. But that aside, there's a question I've got for, I say it's going to be hard for you, Fordy, but well, Jatila and Al.
You've upset Jatila, she's left.
Jatila's left the building. Have you ever done a race that you've paid for and you thought to yourself afterwards, I really regret paying for that. I shouldn't have paid for that. That was too much money. Have you ever felt like that? Because I've got to be honest with you, some races before I book up, I think that's a bit pricey. I'm not sure about, but then I do it and afterwards, and I just think I'm glad I've done that. I don't regret it. Have you got any regrets, Sam?
That's a really good question.
Well, I suppose there's races I've chosen not to go back to. As I said, there's a London half that I will think long and hard about going back to. I know there's a huge support for races in the northwest where they might be competing in a cup final this weekend. The two teams that I don't have a lot of love for, but it's a combination. I think it's price and experience and how you did on the day. So there's a lot of factors that determine why I might not go back to a race. Conversely, there are some races I will always sign up to. Brighton weekend, the half. Just love being in Brighton. It doesn't really matter whether it's windy, sunny. I've got chilblains, I've got sunburn, I've run hungover, and I will always sign up because I just know I'm going to have a good
even if they put the price up 30 quid.
Well, it's creeping up. But as Jatila said, you then have to start getting smart about knowing when the dates are. I've managed to dig out a relatively cheap price for the A6 and the big half, so I'll be going along to those. But you have to be a smart consumer. I guess it's like anything in life, isn't it? Dig out the bargains and know where to look. And that starts to make it not as accessible as everyone says it is. Oh, it's accessible. Well, suddenly it stops being quite as accessible. So, we have this conversation quite a lot in some of the groups about, is that a race you're prepared to pay the money for?
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. It's like someone just mentioned the Cambridge half. I mean, how overpriced that is. And I'm not just digging them out because I dug them out, but there's, even those sort of events, Oxford's a ballot. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's very hard for me to sit and comment about it. Is there races that I wouldn't do if I had to pay for them? Yeah, I could give you a list as long as you're on. To be honest with you, but I won't do that because I don't want to upset anybody. I know I'm pretty good at it, so I don't want to do that as well. But there's certain races that, if I wasn't being sent to or asked to do or whatever, then I probably wouldn't bother doing them because they're just overpriced for what they are. But
I do naturally just look at the cheapest ones. Like obviously, I'd love to race a lot of these races, and I'm very grateful that I'm sort of in a club. My training group, we do get some discounts here and there for races. Like for big half, I've managed to get a quite discounted rate this year, which is fantastic. But like you said, Al, like not everybody is fortunate or can grab those discounts or the dates and the times where they're possible. And I see Mike's popped in a comment there just on some sort of like annual passes that you can get as well, but it's about knowing about them. Like, and if you don't hear about them, or if you're not somebody that's active on sort of the internet or social media, it's difficult to find them because it's not very well presented. Like, for example, obviously the run through one, the annual pass you can get for every single race up and down the country. You can do like the London pass or the annual pass, and you pay like a certain amount for the year, which breaks it down a hell of a lot. But that just you have to consider then how many races you then feel like you have to do more to obviously make your money and make your buck. And then obviously you still want to do those big signature races like Big Half, Hackney, Essex 10K or Saucony 10K, which then obviously just adds up. So it's like you really have to have a sort of a strategic plan as to what your goal is, or if you have a goal, or how many races you want to do. You want to make it worth your buck, but then you want to do a big one. It's tough.
It's interesting. Last year, A6 10K surprised us all because I think we'd got used to not getting a T-shirt at the A6 10K, and then you was kind of muttering, going, I'm paying all that money, I'm getting a medal, I might get a snack bar, and then suddenly a T-shirt turned up, and it kind of changed people's perceptions, I think, because you're like, oh, suddenly you're getting something that you'd kind of written off as not having any value, and then you're getting a T-shirt. I know it's controversial because it's, should we or shouldn't we take medals and T-shirts at races? But for me, that suddenly went, yeah, okay, I'm going to have a look at that one again next year because I got something for it that I wasn't expecting. So I guess for me, it's all about that was part of the experience, So it puts onus on the organisers to make sure they give you something that leaves you with that experience.
It ain't going to stop, guys. It ain't going to stop. Not while it's booming. But as Al said, when it crashes, then it'll all go bust. Okay, right. So let's go on to the main course. I appreciate that some of you have been putting a lot of questions in. If one of you wouldn't mind just having a scoop through that, in terms of seeing if there's anything that's striking out in terms of questions that we need to answer. But yeah, running shoes. We wanted to talk about that because it is that time of year where season's sort of changing. Let's say people have come out of spring marathon, half marathon training, and moving into the summer, then maybe picking up into some other training or whatever, or you're just out there, catch the 5K, just starting your journey, whatever it is. The running shoe thing can be a minefield. And I did yesterday go and have a gait analysis, which was super interesting. And I would strongly recommend anybody to go and do that. I would appreciate that there's a cost assigned to what I had yesterday. I think it was got no idea. But Carter and George, check them out if you're in Hartford. But some places do it for free is what I was going to go and say. You can get that. You don't need to go to the extremes that I did in terms of the foot mapping. But it was super interesting. And the video will come out in a couple of weeks about the findings and that. But it reconfirmed what I already knew. But we got into talking about drop, foams, width of shoes, different types of shoes, and how that's developed. Because, 10 years ago, I mean, they're up there. I ran London Marathon in a pair of Pegasus 33s or something like that. They're like 20 something mil a stack, firm as you like. And you now look at yourself, just this year, Hayden, we was coming when we ran London. Everybody, including yourself, was in those bright green Alphafly, wasn't it? It's just like night and day.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's like night and day. And as you said, it was really noticeable at London how many people were in them. But again, as you said, I'm really going to get into this, but how much of this market is determined by how good the shoe is or by how much influence other people have on people buying the shoes, or how much you want to be fashionable, or you want to be with the crowd, or how much you think they're actually going to make you go faster. Listen, I think deep down, we wanted that little bit of extra speed, maybe, bit of comfort. And I wanted that from the Alphafly 3s. You know how much I love my Alphaflys from day one. Always worn them. Had the 3s for London. And I hated to admit it to you, because we've always had that back and forth, but they didn't work for me at London. They didn't. They hurt.
I slowed you down, don't forget. You weren't on it. You weren't on it. You weren't on it.
That's absolute rubbish. I'm not putting it down to that. They literally, they just weren't for me. And that's the first time ever, which left me a little bit wondering. I didn't get it. It's really, really strange for. And as you said, everywhere I looked, everyone's in these things. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. Al, is there anything that stands out? I know you looking at the.
I guess the interesting thing is, isn't it? It is all about marketing, because it's all about money. We've just spent half an hour talking about that for races, and I get suckered in, so I have to put my hands up. I'm the worst. But a shoe that was the best shoe ever last year suddenly is no good this year. And you kind of have to question that. Going, they were selling it as the best shoe ever less than 12 months ago, and now. Why?
Yeah, I've done a lot of videos about that.
So why don't we just kind of go, well, it worked for me, version 4. I'm not going to go to version 6. Or I'm going to wait until there are no more 4s. And that's one way of dealing with that problem of that kind of price inflation, because the new versions never come out any cheaper. You might be lucky and get all that new technology for the same price, but the chances are there's another 20 quid on top. So
I'm just going to have a look. There's a question here. Hi, Fordy. I'm looking for a marathon performance shoe. Currently using Asics GT2000. That's a mild stability, yeah, but they need a mild stability shoe. Any advice, please? Yeah, I would look at the New Balance SC Elite version 4 or the Saucony Pro 4. If you're going to go there, if neither of them work, because they might be too soft, I'd look at the Saucony Kavara Pro. There was another one down here. Undecided over 2 shoes for everyday running, which is best. Brooks Hyperion Max or the Adidas Boston 12. Adidas Boston 12 out of those two. The Hyperion Max will ruin your calves. Wait for Hyperion Max 2, because that will knock the Adidas Boston 12 out of the park when that launches later in the year. Looking forward to this chat. I need a new 24 shoe. Mac 4 Takumi Sen. I don't understand what they're saying there. Can somebody have a look at that? I ain't got the attention to look at that any longer. Have I missed any more? I just don't want to miss anybody's absolute direct questions about running shoes before we get into the.
There's one in there from James, which isn't direct about the actual shoe itself, but James Henderson popped in. How do you know when it's time to dispose of a pair of shoes, and what's the best way to prolong their life?
I've got a video coming out about prolonging the life of shoes, so watch out for that when that drops. I'll tell you when that's coming out. That's coming out on June the 8th, so I'm not going to answer that now. In terms of how you realise that they're knackered, it's usually the feeling of the foam. It's that bottoming out feeling sensation. Obviously, they've got holes in them, right, and like your toes hanging out. But just it's that feeling of bottoming out from the foam. I'll never forget, I had a pair of New Balance SC trainers that I had for the New York City Marathon training, and I wore them heavily because I was obviously a New Balance that sent me out there, so I was using them for most of my training. And by the end of it, I put them on again when I got back. By the end of the whole block and that lot, and I could literally feel like I was running on the carbon plate. They'd lost that. All right, they'd done a few miles, mine, but I knew then that I couldn't run in them anymore because they really felt like they bottom out under the toes. So that's how you.
So you're saying ignore Garmin when you get these things that come up saying you've done 300 miles and 400 miles. You're saying just go to how it feels in your foot, or would you go at recommended mileage?
Personally, I go to feel. I go to general wear and tear. I mean, we're all pretty sensible, right? You can look if you've got a pair of shoes. I haven't got any up here. In terms of that, maybe you're pronating down a certain part and it's really starting to burn out. Or, you know, some of that rubber's really going in a certain area. The uppers add it. But ultimately, I feel like it's the midsole. You can feel it. Like Simon was talking to me on Tuesday about his Super Blast because he's done 300 miles in another pair of Super Blasts. And he's like, "40, what am I going to get? Because Super Blast 2's not out yet. It's coming, but it's not out yet." And he's like, "Do I wait? What do I do?" I said, "So how does the foam feel?" He went, "Like new." I said, "Well, carry on running in them." You know, until they get to that point that they feel like, you know, they're doing damage, or, you know, you can really feel that it's a really hard sensation to describe, but you literally feel the ground underneath you where you hadn't before. And they feel a softer foam feels for some reason a lot firmer, or you can feel that plate where you never felt that before. You know, they're the sensible things to look out for. Yeah, you can go on mileage, but some people get like 700 miles out of shoes and things like that. It depends, again, a lot of it's on like what you're running on. If you're running on like gravel paths and fire tracks and things like that, you're going to burn them out quicker than somebody who's running in a beautiful neighborhood in Southern California and living their best life. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's all relative to what you're running on as well. So they're the sort of things I would look out for. Now, I wanted to play a game. But because I've got absolutely no interest in living at the moment, I couldn't even be asked to do an intro. So I want to play a game. It's called Which Shoe Works. I haven't even got the effort to do a really good intro. It's just which shoe works. All right. So we're going to go round, right? And you're going to tell me which shoe works for you. But I don't want you to think like Hayden does about 3 hours over it and change his mind about 10 times. You've just literally got to go whatever comes into your head. I'll let you have two. Now, everybody can play along at home. If you want to go and get a piece of paper and a pen, I'm going to sit here and not say anything for 10 seconds. Ready? Go. You're not meant to say nothing. It's a podcast. Right, if you're out on your run, I hope you have stopped and got something to do it. Okay. Are you ready? Now, pretend there's really good intro music coming up at the moment. Just play it in your head, whether it's a song by, you know, Luke Bryan or a bit of George Strait, whatever. Okay, everybody, welcome to Which Shoe Works. The name of the game is to tell us which shoe works. All right. First up, Hayden, parkrun. What shoe works for you?
If I'm going for it, Vaporfly 3.
If you're not going for it?
New Balance 1080 version 13.
Chatilla, parkrun.
Parkrun, Nova Blast 3.
Is that for going for it or just going? Just
chill. Just there to enjoy.
Adam.
Hoka Mac 5.
Is that an all-purpose shoe, or is that
An everyday training? You can do pretty much everything in it. So you can go for it when you want to, and it will help you cruise when you need to.
Okay, next up.
What about you? You got to answer these questions, surely.
Oh, I can't even.
You're the
bother.
expert. Come
Yeah.
on.
I can't be asked.
Come on, parkrun if you're going for it.
I can't go for it anymore. I'm broken.
Oh, God.
Right, next up, 5K race. 5K race, not parkrun. Parkrun is not a race. We support parkrun on this channel. Despite them not being very helpful for certain things, we are big supporters of parkrun. All right. 5K race, Jatila.
Oh, my alphas. It's got to be my alpha flies. I think I'm still on the 2%.
I hope everybody's playing along, by the way. You can put your answers in the chat if you're playing along. Hayden, 5K race, which you kind of answered, you idiot, on the parkrun one, but go on.
Vaporfly free.
Okay. Al?
I'm sticking with my Mac 5s because they got a slight rocker, so I can get onto my toes if I need to.
Like it. Okay. And no, I'm not answering that because I'm never going to make a 5K race. Alan, 10K.
That's a tricky one. Probably for 10K, I might be moving into my marathon shoes. I've been using the RC3s. They're not as aggressive as some of the other carbon plates, and they're a bit more cushioned, but it just gives me enough zip to go a little bit faster. So I'd probably risk wearing them out over a number of 10Ks because, again, they're not going to last if I'm using them for 10Ks and halves and marathons.
Okay. Hey, which shoe works? Do you see what I did there? I put the title of the game into... Which shoe works 10K?
For me, Alpha Fly version 2.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. They're a great shoe. I love the Alpha Fly.
For a 10K, like full out?
Full out 10K, Alpha Fly version 2, yeah.
And your arch is all right in them?
Absolutely fine. I've never ever had one problem with my arch ever in a pair of Alpha Flies.
About the hair on your feet?
Yeah, that's a problem. They get hot.
Jatila, 10K.
Yeah. Mine would be the same for the 5K. I would wear the same. I would. Like,
you're not helping my mood here. You're meant to be making me smile and making me laugh. You're meant to hammer him.
But you've got to remember, this time last year, we sat and had this conversation and I just ran a marathon in non-carbon plated shoes. So for me, I'm still in the learning process.
But you've got to let the viewers know and the listeners, we're not rehashing a game here. This is a brand new game that I invented before we came on. Okay? Because they'll want to play this again.
I wouldn't know what to wear for a 10K like hard race. Like this.
Right, we've got to move on. This is like the lightning round, Jatila. You've got to speed up a bit. Right, this is going to throw you out. Al, 10 miler, which shoe works?
10 miler, I'm probably not racing, so I might be moving into a cushion shoe. I have been using New Balance more for, but I found them too heavy, so I'm looking at the Rebel V4 for my next purchase.
Oh, it's a lovely shoe, that is.
I like them in blue. You know,
yeah, I've got them blue ones out. That's just beautiful, that is. That's a beautiful suggestion. If I ever make a 10 mile again, I'm going to wear them. Hayden, which shoe works 10 miles for you?
Same as Al. Probably wouldn't race a 10 miler. It's just not my distance. So I would go with something a bit more comfortable. At the moment, really loving the Saucony Triumph 21s.
You go Saucony Triumph 21 in a 10 miler?
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to go out racing hard. I want to feel comfortable and come in feeling good. And they would give that to me, definitely.
Right, there's no winners or losers here. Joanne, can you get a carbon stability shoe? I said it to somebody earlier. Check out the SC Elite version 4 from New Balance. The foam's relatively firm. I would look at the Kinvara Pro from Saucony 4 and the Kinvara Pro, or look at the Saucony Kinvara Pro. Saucony Pro 4 is quite a wide platform versus the previous version, and the speedwell's not as aggressive. So look at those 3 shoes. Jatila, I can't even remember. Did I ask you about 10 miler?
No, but I've been really enjoying my new Gel Nimbus 26s for my sort of, yeah.
Do you find them warm?
Pardon?
You find them warm?
Yeah, I find them cozy, should I say. I need like stability and I'm enjoying them.
You need stability and you're enjoying the Nimbus. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably their highest stacked, softest shoe. Brilliant. Well done. You need to go and see my friends at George and Carter and get your thing sorted out. Right. Oh, I know this is going to come. Right. Hayden, which shoe works for the half marathon for you? And if you say Alphafly 2, I am going to literally turn this computer off.
I've changed. I've gone on to the Vaporfly 3 for me, half
What's that?
marathon. Running Madrid, really enjoyed them.
Rescued the show. Al?
I'm back in my SC3s, but the difference this time is I've got compression sleeves on my calves just to give my legs a little bit of support.
Is that aerodynamics?
Well, you shave them as well, but no, it's about blood flow. So
I've got to wear them if I ever come back.
If I ever come back,
Chatilla.
get out of this.
You will. Mine will be
Chatilla.
vapor flies all day for half marathon.
What number?
2s.
Ooh. Right. We're nearly there, people. 20 miler. Which shoe works? Chatilla.
Oh gosh.
And it's a goal pace.
Oh, okay. I'd probably, I actually don't know. 20 miles.
Maybe it's meant to be a lightning round. This is meant to be quicker.
Sorry. Okay. I don't know.
I need like a clock that's ticking down. Doo-doo.
No, because that would give me more anxiety.
Doo-doo.
I would just probably go out still in my gel Nimbus, to be honest, at 20 miles.
You'll have warm feet, dear.
I don't have enough money to be splashing out on all these different
I'll make you right. Get out of the start finishes, go for all your runs. You're welcome. Hayden, 20 miler. What shoe works?
I would go out, especially with goal pace, I would go out in my New Balance 1080s version 13s because goal pace would be a little bit tougher to hit. But when I'm running towards goal pace for my marathon, I find it easier when I change shoe.
Fair place. Here's a question, random. Would you want a goal pace long run, change your shoe? So you do a bit in an easy shoe and then stop and change your shoe. How would you do that?
I don't think I have changed shoes. I normally change my top, my shorts, my socks, my sweat. But that's the reason. I normally like to get naked halfway through a run for that reason alone.
All right, which shoe are you going for in this 20 miler?
Well, remember, I'm a Hanson runner, so I've already gone home. I finished at 16.
You're done. You checked out. All right, Al, you're 16 miler. Which shoe works?
I'd probably, I haven't got the V4, but I'd probably like to give those a go on that distance.
Okay.
V4.
Okay. 2 more to go, people. Then you can switch off and go and watch EastEnders. Full Jatilla marathon.
Oh, I was converted for London this year. The Asics Metaspeed Sky. I am in love.
Okay. All right. Hayden, Alphafly 3.
No, definitely not. Look how wrong you are. See, you think you know me. You don't. I've told you, I'm done with Alphafly 3. I would literally, if I had a full marathon next week, I would think I would toss a coin for the Alphafly 2 or Vaporfly 3. I don't know. It makes a difference either or.
Okay. Al?
I'm shopping with Jatilla and hoping she can find me a size 12.5 in those Asics.
I'll keep my eyes peeled. It took me ages to get my hands on these ones.
Thank you.
There is a second drop coming, just so you know, if anybody's listening. I better not say more now. I'll get told off. Lastly, Ultra. Actually, we could add another one on. I've just thought of another one. Ultra, which shoe works? Jatilla, if you had to go and run an Ultra tomorrow, what shoe would you run in?
I don't have any that would do that. I have no shoes that I'd run an Ultra in.
You don't have to own it. You could say, I'm going to go. If I said to you, Start Fitness, just giving you £200 voucher.
Yeah.
Fill your boots. What are you going to get?
I wouldn't have a clue. I actually wouldn't have a clue what I would go out in for an ultra distance. Never even looked into what shoe would be best for that distance. I haven't.
Interesting. All right. I'd probably send you out in your Nimbus. Hayden.
Saucony Triumph, definitely.
All day, yeah?
Definitely at the moment. Yep, loving them.
Al?
See, when you say ultra, I automatically think of long trail runs rather than road races. So I was moving into a trail shoe. I've been using the New Balance more for trail, and they're too heavy. They just, you only need a little bit of mud, and they cake up, and it's like you've got bricks. I've used Speed Goats before, but they're a bit narrow. So I'm in the market for something for my long distance ultra trails. Not that I'm ever going to run one, but should I? Yeah, and I've got this mythical £200. Come and talk to me.
Trabuco Max. Asics Trabuco Max.
Okay.
It's like a tank, but light-ish. Really nice foam, wide, comfortable. Very comfortable. I'm going to be doing the gardening in them tomorrow. Okay, right. I'm going to throw a curveball in there because I've just seen the time. If you had to ride 100 miles and you weren't in them stupid things that cause so many like fatalities, those what they call peat things or cleat things or whatever they're called, and you had to run it and you had to do it in shoes out, what would you wear?
So there you go. I'm going back to my Mac 5s because I reckon there's kind of chopping and changing on your bike. I'm a cyclocross, so something that you can get from your car onto your bike, do a bit of biking, get off at the tube, get your bike down the stairs. Yeah, Mac 5, all round everyday trainer.
Yeah, Jatila?
Oh, the ones I probably around Boston. I had a great time in there. The Puma, Puma,
Forever Run.
Puma Nitros.
Puma Forever Run Nitro you got.
They were fantastic.
Hayden, what are you going to be wearing to do biking on Sunday?
I am actually wearing my Brooks Glycerin. I find them really comfortable on that bike. And it's quite a good topic you said about that. So I'm doing a triathlon in July, and obviously I've got to do a transition from bike to run. So I've got to pick a shoe that I don't want to muck about changing shoes. So I've got to find a shoe that would do a 40-kilometre bike run and then get off and do a 10K run at a decent pace.
Shoe? Do you want the best shoe and you can pick them up cheap and start fitness at the moment? Honestly.
Go on, hit me.
It's the Tri Noosa, or Noosa Tri, sorry, from Asics. Number 15, 14 is a similar sort of shoe. There's not a hell of a lot of foam underfoot. They improved it this year. An unbelievable shoe. You don't have to wear a sock with it. It's light enough. It's got enough about it. It's stable enough. It looks pretty awesome as well. Noosa Tri, that's it. Definitely the right way of saying it. Seriously, if you're doing a triathlon, that's the shoe to go for. Really good. Got enough giddy up in it for the run, but ain't going to kill you. And wide enough, stable enough to do everything. Really good shoe. Breathable as well.
Good shoe.
So there you go. Right, okay. I think that's it. So, Al, what are you're volunteering. Where are you park running this weekend?
We're heading off to Eltham to do Sutcliffe Park Run. We're going to do a little park run sandwich, which is run to park run, do park run, have breakfast, then run back again. So, and then we're meeting up with another group of Fordies on Monday at Hatfield Broadoak for a 10K and cake.
Right, nice. Oh, lovely. Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Jatila, now you're back in the saddle. What are you up to this weekend?
I'm actually doing something similar. So I'm back up to, I wouldn't say I'm doing 6 miles on tomorrow. So I'll do sort of 3 miles before park run, my locals Bushy, and then do Bushy and then go grab some brekkie and then head home.
I don't understand this comment from Simon Home Studies. And Fordy's head is smaller than I thought it'd be.
That's because earlier on he made a comment saying it's the first time he's seen Hayden and he's a lot younger than what I thought he would be. And now he's had a caveat to that saying also your head is smaller. They're just putting the boot into you, mate. What's up?
I was going to say, I'm not being funny, right? I'm literally in a pile of my own poo. I'm going to go back in and get in the bath and talk to myself, right? And this geezer's just kicking me while I'm down. Thank you very much. I sleep well tonight. I won't do. Hayden, you doing park run tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm doing park run. I'm in Richmond Park tomorrow. I'm doing Richmond Park run, and then obviously Ride 100 on Sunday.
What time have you got to be up for that?
Leaving here at 5 o'clock, so about 4:15, something like that, 20 past 4. I know it's an early start, but obviously early start must mean early finish if I get
live. No, it's about you're out there for about 3 days on that thing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I was going to say that at the top bit of the show. I'm not just saying. I know how much you hate biking. I'm just not comfortable. Mine ain't the hate. I'm just not comfortable with it. It's not me. I'm so far out of my comfort zone with it that I would much prefer to be doing an ultra tomorrow, and I hate ultras. So
that's fair play to you. I mean, again, fair play to everybody who's doing it. There's a lot of people who are going for it, trying to get that classics things that we had. If you're not listening to it, we had Sue on talking about the classics, which is super interesting. I wouldn't bother doing the swimming if you don't know, because I want to stand up and like you do in the pool. You're not allowed to do that. Apparently, I get a bit upset about it. So don't do the swimming if you can't. But I take my hat off. If I was wearing a hat that was on my really small head, then I would take it off and just dip it to you because I think it is incredible. Just please, for God's sake, be safe. I mean, for God's sake, please, everybody come out of there all right. And yes, and well done, Al, for marshalling. And I know we've got a few out there. So again, thank you to everybody who's Big volunteering, right? So that's
sorry, mate. It's
yeah,
butting. It's always me. You know what I'm like. I just want to give a big shout out. I know you did it at the top bit of the show about Edinburgh Marathon.
Yeah.
We've got a lady called Joanna Courtney. She's going out tomorrow. She's going out for a big PB. She's been training about this for months, and she's been talking about it for months. We're all behind her, really hoping that she.
Yeah, anybody who's doing, like I said, like Debs and is up there. Anybody's going up to Edinburgh and having a go at that, or wherever you're out and about this week, have fun, be safe. That's the most important thing. Last call again for the Olympics. We've got 5 spaces left for that. If you want to come to the Great North Run Shakeout, right? I'm just telling you now, you need to sign up because our friends at Start Fitness have not put that out yet on their socials. Right? When they do, and when our other friends who make trainers put that out on their socials, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. All right. And once it's gone, we can't have any more in the room than we're allowed because Al will tell me off on the risk assessment. All right. So don't wait. I appreciate some train tickets. I think some are out actually, but just please sign up for it. Okay. It's free and I don't want anybody to miss out. I don't think I can make any clearer, can I?
No. What time does that start, the shakeout run on the Saturday?
12.
12 o'clock.
But you've got to be there. I'd say get there because I want to do. We've got 250 people already coming, right? And that was in less than 1 day. So we're going to have a lot of safety briefings to do. We've got a lot of people to fix up with run leaders. We've got to get volunteers out on the course on the road. So there's a lot that's going to go into that. So I really need everybody to get signed up, know what they're doing, and get on it. Okay. So yes, and make sure again if you're coming to Pride, Clapham Common, parkrun, we need you to get on that so we can just out of courtesy, really, let the run director know how many sort of extras that we're bringing, just as a courtesy out of that. Thanks to everybody who's done a volunteer job. Right, okay, that's it, guys. I can't think of anything. I'm not here on Monday. I'm gonna go and get back in the bath. I shall see you all. Have fun. Where's the outro? Let's see if I can do this without cocking this up as well. Here we go. Right, where is it? Oh, it's there. Right, I'll see you all later. Bye.